Commander Park Sang-min stood at the central command console, his eyes fixed on the massive holographic display. The alien ships had appeared without warning, materializing at the edge of the solar system in a brilliant flash of blue light. Their sleek, crystalline vessels looked nothing like the crude human spacecraft that patrolled Earth's orbital paths. Lieutenant Kim Do-yeon's fingers flew across her control panel, gathering data on the unknown fleet. "Sir, I'm counting over 50 vessels. Their energy signatures are off the charts. Nothing in our database matches their configuration." The command center hummed with tense activity as personnel rushed to battle stations. Earth had prepared for this moment for decades, but the reality of first contact still sent chills down Park's spine. He watched as the alien ships moved in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming under the distant sunlight. "Commander, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," Kim reported, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The signal is being automatically translated." The holographic display flickered, and a tall figure materialized in the center of the command room. The alien stood nearly 8 feet tall, its metallic skin reflecting the room's lighting. Lord Tahoe, as he called himself, wore ornate armor that seemed to shift colors with each movement. "People of Earth," the alien's voice resonated through the chamber, "I speak on behalf of the Galactic Empire. Your world has been noted as a developing civilization within our borders. As per imperial law, you have 2 choices: submit to imperial rule and join our empire as a protectorate, or face immediate annihilation." Park felt the weight of humanity's future on his shoulders. The defense plans they had developed now seemed inadequate against the technological might displayed before them. But humans had never been ones to bow to threats. "Sir," Kim whispered, "Defense Grid Alpha is ready. Secondary systems are charged and waiting." Park nodded, remembering the years of preparation, the secret weapons they had developed, the underground cities built to shelter their population. Earth wasn't as helpless as these aliens assumed. "The Council is unanimous." His comm unit crackled with the United Earth government's decision. "You are authorized to respond." Taking a deep breath, Park stepped forward. "Lord Tahoe, we have received your message. Humanity acknowledges the Galactic Empire's power." He paused, making eye contact with the holographic figure. "However, we choose neither submission nor annihilation." The alien's expression shifted, showing what might have been amusement. "You do not understand your position. Your species has barely achieved interplanetary travel. You cannot hope to resist." "Perhaps," Park replied, his voice firm, "but you don't understand humans. We've spent our entire history fighting against impossible odds. Each time someone told us to submit, we fought harder. Every time someone said we couldn't achieve something, we proved them wrong." Kim's console beeped urgently. "Sir, they're powering up weapons systems." "We're giving you one chance," Park continued, his hands clasped behind his back. "Turn back. Leave Earth's space, because if you don't, you'll learn why every civilization should fear humans fighting for their survival." Lord Tahoe's hologram straightened, its eyes narrowing. "Your defiance is noted, Commander, and it will be punished. The Empire has conquered thousands of worlds. Yours will be no different." As the hologram faded, Park turned to his crew. "Sound the alarm. Activate all defense systems. Inform all nations. We are at war." Klaxons blared throughout the facility as humanity prepared for its first interstellar conflict. The massive underground bunkers began receiving civilians, while military personnel rushed to their posts. In orbit, automated defense platforms powered up, their weapons charging silently in the void of space. "They don't realize what they're walking into," Kim said softly, watching the alien fleet begin its advance. Park nodded grimly. "That's their mistake. Humanity hasn't survived this long by being weak. Send word to all commands. Initiate Operation Phoenix. Let's show the Empire why they should have heeded our warning." As the alien ships moved closer, Earth's defenders readied themselves for the battle that would determine their species' fate. The Empire had conquered thousands of worlds, but they had never faced humans before. They were about to learn why that was a critical mistake. Admiral Li Jinwu stood before the massive tactical display aboard the Imperial flagship, Eternal Dawn. The holographic projection showed Earth rotating slowly, a blue jewel against the darkness of space. Intelligence reports scrolled across his screen, detailing humanity's military history. Lady Yuna, his chief strategic advisor, studied the data with growing concern. Her silver eyes narrowed as she processed centuries of human warfare. Admiral, these reports are disturbing. Their entire history is written in blood and fire. Li waved his hand dismissively. Every species fights wars, Lady Yuna. The Empire has crushed rebellions across 1,000 worlds. Not like this, she insisted, bringing up historical footage. Look at their world wars. They fought until their cities burned. Their Cold War. They built enough weapons to destroy their own planet several times over. Even their entertainment focuses on conflict and resistance against overwhelming odds. The tactical display shifted, showing human military innovations throughout history. They went from primitive flight to space travel in less than 70 years, Yuma continued. Their rate of technological advancement is unprecedented. Li watched as more data streamed across the screen. Humanity's wars had grown increasingly sophisticated, yet maintained a brutal efficiency. They're still primitive compared to Imperial technology, he argued. That's not the point. Yuna placed her hand on the console, bringing up another report. Look at their response to threats. They unite. They adapt. They never surrender, even when defeat seems certain. They would rather die fighting than live under another's rule. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Han Myray worked frantically in her underground laboratory. The captured alien scout ship had provided invaluable insights into Imperial technology. Her team had been working around the clock to integrate these advances into Earth's defense systems. Run the simulation again, she ordered, watching as holographic projections displayed the modified shield harmonics. The alien energy weapons that had once cut through Earth's defenses like paper now dispersed harmlessly against the adapted barriers. Back on the Imperial flagship, Li reviewed the invasion plans. The 7th Fleet has never failed in its mission. We will break their resistance like all the others. The others weren't human. Yuna's voice carried a note of fear. Admiral, I studied every species the Empire has conquered. None of them think like humans do. These people, they turn their defeats into victories. They learn from every failure. They've developed most of their technology by studying their own wars. She brought up more historical footage, guerrilla warfare, resistance movements, innovative tactics that had changed the face of combat. They're already adapting our own technology against us. That scout ship we lost, they didn't just shoot it down. They captured it intact. Li frowned at this news. Impossible. The self-destruct protocols were bypassed. Yuna finished. Somehow, they knew exactly how to disable them. These humans, they don't think like us. They're unpredictable. In her lab, Dr. Han smiled as the final simulation completed successfully. Send word to command. The shield modifications are ready for full deployment. Begin upgrading all defense platforms immediately. She looked at the alien technology they'd captured, marveling at how quickly they'd understood its principles. The Empire had made a crucial mistake in underestimating human ingenuity. They thought humans would be easy prey, but humanity had been preparing for this moment since they first looked up at the stars. On the Imperial flagship, Li made his decision. The Empire's will cannot be denied. Launch the invasion fleet. We will show these humans the price of defiance. Lady Yuna watched the massive ships begin their advance toward Earth. She thought of all the historical battles she'd studied, all the times humans had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. May the gods have mercy on us, she whispered. We're not going to war with a primitive species. We're going to war with humanity itself. As the Imperial fleet moved into attack position, Dr. Han's modifications went live across Earth's defense grid. The humans were ready. The Empire was about to learn that some mornings should be heated, and that humanity's greatest strength had always been its refusal to submit. The massive Imperial warships emerged from hyperspace, their crystalline hulls gleaming against Earth's atmosphere. Captain Choi Sua stood on the bridge of the EDS Defiant, her hand steady on the tactical console. The orbital defense grid hummed to life around her ship, thousands of satellites and weapon platforms awakening from their dormant state. Enemy fleet holding position at maximum weapons range, her tactical officer reported. They're deploying fighter screens. Choi allowed herself a small smile. The Empire was following standard invasion protocols, exactly as expected. Begin transmission of defense grid frequency patterns. Make sure they see our vulnerabilities. The Imperial ships advanced in perfect formation, their energy weapons charging. Lord Tayo, commanding from his flagship, watched with satisfaction as the first volley of Imperial fire struck Earth's orbital defenses. The energy beams should have shattered the primitive human shields instantly. Instead, the shields absorbed the attacks, rippling with modified alien technology. Dr. Han's adaptations had worked perfectly. The Empire's own shield technology, reversed and improved, now protected Earth's defenses. Launch counter-offensive, Choi ordered. Pattern Alpha 7. Let's show them what humanity can do. The quantum-shifted missiles, developed in secret using captured Imperial tech, streamed from Earth's defense platforms. The Empire's sensors registered nothing until it was too late. Their shields, calibrated to stop normal weapons, were useless against these phase-shifted warheads. Lord Taho's triumphant expression turned to horror as the first explosions ripped through his fleet. Imperial ships, pride of the galaxy's greatest civilization, erupted in balls of plasma fire. The quantum missiles bypassed their shields completely, striking directly at their hulls. Impossible, he roared, watching as 30% of his invasion force disappeared in seconds. Their technology is primitive. They couldn't have developed this. Choi's voice crackled across all frequencies, deliberately transmitted in the clear. You thought we'd be easy prey, Lord Tayo. You should have studied your history better. Humanity doesn't play fair. We fight to win. The remaining Imperial ships attempted to regroup, but Earth's defense grid had only begun its assault. Rail guns powered by antimatter accelerators punched through Imperial armor. Plasma torpedoes, guided by AI systems that learned and adapted in real time, pursued enemy vessels through their evasive maneuvers. Second wave, launch, Choi commanded. The EDS Defiant led a fleet of Earth ships from their hidden positions behind the moon. These vessels, smaller than their Imperial counterparts, carried weapons specifically designed to exploit weaknesses in Imperial technology. Lord Taho watched in disbelief as his supposedly invincible fleet was torn apart by weapons that shouldn't have existed. The humans had taken Imperial technology and turned it against its creators in ways never imagined. My lord, his second-in-command's voice shook with fear. We've lost contact with the entire third battle group. These humans, they're not fighting like primitives. They're fighting like demons. For the first time in his long career, Lord Taho felt real fear. The Empire had conquered thousands of worlds, but none had ever bloodied them like this. None had ever forced them to retreat. All ships, emergency withdrawal, he ordered, his pride shattering like his fleet. Return to Imperial space immediately. Captain Choi watched as the mighty Imperial fleet fled, their formation broken, their confidence shattered. Earth's first major space battle had ended in victory, but she knew this was just the beginning. Send word to command, she ordered. The Empire has retreated, but they'll be back. And next time, they'll be ready for our surprises. As the last Imperial ships vanished into hyperspace, humanity celebrated its first victory against the galaxy's greatest power. But in their command centers and laboratories, they were already preparing for the Empire's return. Because humans knew better than anyone, winning one battle wasn't the same as winning the war. Colonel Song, Jeho stared at the holographic map showing Imperial supply routes stretching across the galaxy. In the briefing room of Earth's Special Space Operations Command, his teams prepared for their most daring missions yet. Humanity had learned that they couldn't match the Empire's raw power, but they could break their supply lines. Their convoys follow predictable patterns, veteran instructor Kang Hyunwoo explained to the assembled operatives. He pointed to specific nodes on the map. The Empire relies on strict scheduling. That's their weakness. They've never needed to adapt because no one has successfully disrupted their logistics before. The Special Forces teams had spent months training with the phase shift technology stolen from Imperial ships. Their small, agile vessels could now appear and vanish almost instantly, striking before the Empire could respond. Each team carried weapons specifically designed to cripple supply ships without destroying their cargo. In her office aboard the Imperial Logistics Hub, Officer Shin Minji felt her stomach sink as another alert flashed across her screen. Supply Convoy 7 Beta, completely disabled. All cargo lost. The humans were striking with surgical precision, using tactics the Empire had never encountered. Song's teams struck like ghosts. They would materialize from nowhere, disable the convoy's engines with targeted EMP bursts, and vanish with the cargo before Imperial reinforcements could arrive. The captured supplies were redistributed to resistance movements across Empire-controlled space. They're not just raiders, Shin reported to her superiors. They're coordinating with rebels on dozens of worlds. Every successful raid strengthens the resistance and weakens our control. Kang watched with pride as his trained teams returned from another successful mission. The Empire thinks size and power are everything, he told Song. They never learned to fight smart. Their ships are built for grand battles, not quick skirmishes. The humans' hit-and-run tactics were taking their toll. Imperial supply chains, once considered invulnerable, were now unreliable. Garrison worlds faced shortages. Military operations had to be canceled due to lack of resources. We can't stop them, Shin admitted in her latest report. Their ships appear and disappear at will. Standard patrol patterns are useless. They strike, disable our ships, and vanish before we can lock weapons. Song studied the latest mission reports with satisfaction. His teams had adapted faster than anyone expected, combining Earth's military experience with stolen Imperial technology in ways the Empire never imagined possible. The Empire thinks war is about overwhelming force, he told his operators during their briefing. We're teaching them that sometimes the smallest cuts are the most fatal. As more convoys fell to the human raiders, the Empire's mighty war machine began to sputter. Without reliable supply lines, their vast fleets couldn't operate effectively. The guerrilla campaign was achieving what direct confrontation couldn't. It was making the invincible Empire vulnerable. Shin watched helplessly as another convoy disappeared from her tracking systems. The humans weren't just fighting a war. They were rewriting the rules of space combat. For the first time in Imperial history, size and power weren't enough to ensure victory. The Empire had started this war expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that refused to fight on their terms. Humanity's special forces were proving that sometimes the best way to defeat a superior enemy was to never let them use their strength at all. General Bak Do-hyun stood before Earth's combined military leadership, his expression stern but triumphant. Behind him, the massive screen showed live footage of Imperial warships, their crystalline hulls now under human control. Dr. Han's breakthrough in cyber warfare had changed everything. The Empire's greatest strength was their automated fleet, he explained. Now it's their greatest weakness. Dr. Han's team found a way to override their command protocols. Their own ships are now our weapons. In deep space, Captain Choi Soo-ah led the counter-offensive. Her fleet, now reinforced with captured Imperial vessels, pushed aggressively into Empire territory. The Imperial High Command watched in horror as their defensive lines collapsed, betrayed by their own technology. Their automation was meant to be unhackable, Dr. Han explained, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. But they never considered that humans would think to combine their quantum computing with our own AI systems. We're not just controlling their ships, we're turning their entire network against them. The liberation of subjugated worlds began. On each planet, the sight of Imperial ships arriving caused initial panic, until they saw these ships turning their weapons on Imperial ground forces. Resistance movements, supplied by Earth's guerrilla raids, rose up as human forces arrived. The Imperial High Command faced a nightmare scenario. Their automated defense systems were compromised. Their remaining manned vessels couldn't tell friend from foe until it was too late. Every attempt to regain control of their ships only gave Earth's cyber warfare teams more access to their networks. They built their empire on technological superiority, Buck told his officers. They never imagined someone could turn that technology against them. They thought their systems were perfect, and that was their fatal flaw. Captain Choi's fleet moved from system to system, each victory adding more captured ships to their forces. The Empire's own vessels, designed to crush rebellion, now brought liberation. Worlds that had suffered under Imperial rule for centuries saw their oppressors driven back by their own weapons. Dr. Han's team worked tirelessly, adapting their control systems as the Empire frantically tried to counter them. They're trying to shut down their automated systems, she reported. But it's too late. We're in too deep. Every defense they create gives us new paths into their network. The Empire's carefully ordered galaxy was falling into chaos. Planets that had been loyal through fear now saw hope in the human advance. Species that had been enslaved for generations found themselves free, their imperial overlords evacuating ahead of Earth's fleets. This is why we win, Buck told his commanders. The Empire builds perfect systems and never changes them. Humanity, we take those perfect systems and find ways to break them. We adapt. We improvise. We overcome. As news of Earth's victory spread, more worlds pledged their support. The Empire had ruled through fear and technological superiority. Now humans had shown the galaxy that even the mightiest technology could be turned against its masters. The counter-strike continued, pushing deeper into Imperial space. Captain Choi's fleet, once considered primitive by Imperial standards, led the charge toward the Empire's core worlds. Humanity had learned to fight smarter, not just harder, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Grand Hall of Harmony gleamed under the light of three suns, its crystalline walls reflecting the historic moment about to unfold. Commander Park Sang-min walked down the central aisle, his Earth Defense Force uniform standing in stark contrast to the ornate Imperial decorations. Lady Yuna, now the Empire's chief negotiator, waited at the ancient signing table. Representatives from 100 worlds filled the hall, their diverse forms a testament to the galaxy's rich tapestry of life. Many had been Imperial subjects just months ago. Now they stood as equals, ready to forge a new future. The Empire ruled through fear and technology. Lady Yuna addressed the assembly. Humanity showed us a better way. They could have destroyed us. Instead, they offered partnership. Dr. Han Maire's presence drew attention from the gathered scientists and engineers. Her breakthroughs had not only won the war, but had opened new possibilities for cooperation. The sharing of technology between species would be a cornerstone of the new alliance. The Treaty of Seoul marks more than the end of war, Commander Park spoke, his voice carrying through the vast chamber. It marks the beginning of true galactic cooperation. No more empires, no more subjugation. Every world, every species will have a voice. The Free Systems Alliance took shape as dignitaries signed the historic document. The Empire would survive, but as one power among many, its borders reduced to its core worlds. Earth, once considered a primitive backwater, would help guard the galaxy's freedom. Humanity's strength was never in our weapons, Park continued. It was in our ability to unite, to adapt, to see possibilities where others saw only obstacles. These are the qualities we bring to our new alliance. Lady Yuna nodded in agreement. She had warned the Empire about humanity's potential, and now she would help build bridges between former enemies. The treaty established councils where all member worlds would have equal representation, ending millennia of imperial dominance. Dr. Hand's technologies provided the foundation for unprecedented cooperation. Her teams had already begun working with alien scientists, combining knowledge from across the galaxy. Together, they would solve problems that no single species could tackle alone. Let this hall witness the dawn of a new age, Lady Una proclaimed as she signed the treaty, where strength lies not in domination, but in unity, where progress comes not from conquest, but from cooperation. Commander Park added his signature, completing the historic document. Cheers erupted from the assembled delegates. The war that began with an imperial ultimatum had ended with a partnership that would reshape the galaxy. As the celebration began, Park looked out at the gathered species. Humans had earned their place among the stars not by conquering the Empire, but by showing there was a better way. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity would help guide it toward a brighter future. The Treaty of Soul became a symbol of hope across the galaxy. Former enemies became allies, sharing knowledge and resources. Humanity's journey from a single world to a guardian of galactic freedom had just begun, and the stars themselves seemed to shine brighter with possibility.